You not knowing if you'll have a home this Christmas. Well, one family from Blessington are facing that situation. We'd like to welcome Brian Phelan, his partner Joe, here to the studio. They sold their home due to personal circumstances, but they need a home, and basically they need it fast. And there's a complication. They need suitable accommodation because Joe suffers from fibromyalgia and needs ground floor accommodation. So Joe and Brian are here. Hello.
Hi, Declan.
Good morning to you.
Declan, how are you?
And Joe, just to put it in context, because it is a factor in the type of accommodation you need. Tell us about your illness. Explain it to us.
Fibromyalgia is one of these hidden illnesses, to look at. Now, today I'm in a wheelchair, so yes, it's fairly obvious something's wrong with me. There are days, though, where I can potter around with a stick, and to look at me visually, you wouldn't say there's anything wrong with me. But fibromyalgia covers a whole host of ailments, if you like, hyperalgesia being one. I feel pain at the slightest touch, for example. I can walk for very small distances. I get fatigued extremely quickly. I suffer with a thing called allodynia, again, which is this pain on sensation. You can touch my arm just with a gentle touch and it'll feel like I'm being stabbed. So at the moment, I basically live in our bedroom because I can do the stairs maybe once a day. So obviously losing the home has been bad in one sense, but we couldn't maintain living there as it was because obviously unless we got a stair lift, which we weren't able to do.
So you're looking for a ground floor.
Ground floor.
Is it just on the illness? Is it a nerve illness? Is it?
They don't really know. Some people call it an autoimmune. Some people I would say it's a neurological illness because there's so much nervous involvement. Like my central nervous system is amped up. It's set to full all the time. Like my eyes are sensitive, my ears are sensitive, so I'm very sensitive to noise.
And do you get relief from this? Do you get respite from it?
The only relief I get is using a cannabis-based medicine. CBD is what I'm using at the moment, and I'm trying to get rid of pharmaceuticals because along with everything else I have a sensitivity to chemicals. So these...
That's another issue then. You're campaigning presumably for legalisation, and this thing's been making it slow progress through
but it's getting there. We just have to keep up public pressure.
Right.
That's key on that.
So you have a lot of aspects to your life. And Brian, you're looking around Blessington for a suitable place where you both can live, and I think there's a young boy involved too, is there?
Our little one's nearly 4, we have him lined up for a school.
Yes, we have. Our life is there. We've been there 15 years. You've been there. I've been there nearly 30 years working. That's our life. That's where all our friends are from.
And how much have you looked around now for suitable accommodation? You've looked at every possible.
We are on Dafts every day, myhome.ie, etc. We have extensive friends through Facebook and around through my extreme fitness group that they're all helping and looking all the time for us, sharing ideas. But again, there's absolutely nothing around suitable around Blessington.
So what are the requirements, you say? Right, okay.
So we either need level access or we need a property that has 2 downstairs bedrooms. Yeah. And that's all we want. Everything else is workaroundable.
That could be either a bungalow or a ground floor apartment.
That's all and we can't find them.
Yeah.
Absolutely can't find them.
The thing with apartments is the noise factor I have to take into account. To most people, it probably sounds a bit pathetic, but
you don't want people upstairs
banging
with
around,
one shoe
partying,
down and then the next shoe.
Because it will set off my other symptoms. This central nervous system.
So we're talking about an isolated bungalow with level access, ground floor.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, being a bungalow. And does it have to be Blessington town, or can?
No, well, we've expanded.
Not at all. Our friends are there, but at the end of the day.
I mean, Ballymount to do, Ballynacken to do.
Oh, absolutely. We've even looked over down this way.
We thought we had a house at one stage in Red Cross over here. We've looked at Arklow, Wicklow. We've looked at Avoca. Oh yeah, as long as it's safe and we have a level access for Joe. We don't care.
We've got to the point where we've gone and seen properties, but we sadly are not.
There's a budget, is there?
There's a budget. Yeah, we've been approved on the HAP scheme. So a landlord, has to approve to accept HAP for a start. The figure is 1380 because we have an extra bit for my disability. But we go along and we have we only have character references because neither of us work. Brian's my carer. And we basically aren't the desirable ones, you know.
You're not a good bet.
We're not a good bet, even though the rent is going to be paid by the council, you know, so they don't have to worry about our benefits coming in or whatever. But still, you know, there's so many people going for the same properties.
And who can be there to intercede, to put on the best case forward? Is there is there a disability council, or is there a sort of...
We've looked in all those areas, and no, there's absolutely no one.